ਅਲਬਰਟਾ ਦੀ ਚੀਫ ਮੈਡੀਕਲ ਅਧਿਕਾਰੀ ਡੀਨਾ ਹਿੰਸ਼ਾ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ 14 ਸਾਲ ਦੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਦੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਤੋਂ ਮਾਫੀ ਮੰਗੀ ਹੈ, ਜਿਸ ਦੀ ਮੌਤ ਬਾਰੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਮੰਗਲਵਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਬਿਆਨ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਸੀ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਅਫਸੋਸ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਉਸ ਦੀ ਮੌਤ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਿਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀ ਉਸ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਦੁੱਖ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਰ ਵਾਧਾ ਹੋਇਆ।
Apologize to the family of the 14-year-old whose death I spoke about on Tuesday. The pain of losing a child is terrible enough without having that loss compounded by a public debate about the circumstances. I am sorry if the way that I spoke about that death made your grief worse. Since the start of this pandemic, I have heard from many Albertans, including those who have lost a loved one. I reflect often on the impact that our reporting, measures, and every other element of the pandemic response has on them. When I speak about cases and our reporting process, it is not to diminish the losses, whether caused by COVID or anything else. At the same time, we are in a global pandemic. We have an obligation to monitor and report deaths from COVID-19 infection and to be as timely and transparent as possible. In our reporting, we always include all deaths that have COVID as either a primary or secondary cause of death, according to the healthcare teams that were involved in the cases. For example, a primary cause would be someone in whom COVID infection progresses to pneumonia, and this is the direct cause of death. A secondary cause could be a case where someone with a severe underlying illness, such as heart failure, gets COVID, and the infection makes their pre-existing condition worse, leading to death. We report in this way to accurately capture the impact that COVID-19 is having. That is also why our reporting process includes both deaths that come to us where a person has COVID listed as a primary or secondary cause of death, as well as cases with a recent diagnosis of COVID where the cause of death is still under investigation. To make sure we are as accurate as possible, after a death is reported, if there is uncertainty, it is reviewed to validate our information. If that review identifies that COVID was not a primary or secondary cause of death, it is removed from our totals. Every surveillance system has to balance this tug-of-war between precision and timeliness. The more precise reporting is, the slower it is. We have chosen to focus on being as timely as possible in the interests of transparency. Sometimes, though, as in the case reported on Tuesday, the initial information provided to us changes after a review. While the initial report of the death of the 14-year-old included COVID as a secondary cause, we have now received additional information that indicates COVID was not a cause of death.